Top of the morning to you. It is a beautiful start to this day. I want to talk to you about beware of what you normalize in your life. Beware of what you deem as acceptable in your life. Some of you have significant goals and dreams and aspirations. And what you have done is you have allowed those goals and dreams to get covered up by normalcy, covered up by what you accept in your energetic, spiritual, intellectual, emotional life as normal. Example. Someone has this idea of a beautiful relationship with someone who treats them with respect and care and attentiveness and clear communication and allows them to be themselves without feeling judged and encourages them to continue to get better, challenges them to grow with love and strength and respect. And there are people that have this idea of these traits in their relationship partner, and yet they will cover that up with what they have accepted in their real life relationship, not their vision, their real life relationship. So now they're with someone who kind of sort of respects them. They're with someone who is halfway in, halfway out. They're with someone who has wandering eyes. They're with someone who doesn't really truly respect them and honor them and see them, that has a vision for them that's greater than where they are. But the sex is good and they have some decent conversation. So they just allow that to become the new norm. And they take the vision and the expectation of what they truly want in a relationship, and they put it on the shelf. There are others. Some of you all have big financial goals. You want to do big things in your profession, in your career, and how you're earning and building an income for yourself. But you have surrounded yourself with people with no ambition and no drive. They've settled into a routine, into a rhythm. They've settled into becoming paycheck players. A paycheck player is someone who designs their entire life around a paycheck that somebody else signs. They design their entire life around what they anticipate receiving from their employer. Even though they feel like they may be overworked and underpaid, they may feel at times undervalued, underappreciated, even disrespected, but they have settled. And then you surround yourself with those people because you love them. It doesn't mean you can't love someone who's settled in life, who has perhaps given up on their own dreams and aspirations. But because you allow that to become a part of your culture and conversation and everyday reality, then that rubs off on you. And you, in turn, will do the exact same thing. So instead of spending that extra bit of time after you get home from work building your dream, you work because you have bills to pay, and then you work because you have a dream to build after hours. And instead of putting that time in after hours on building your dream, you start hanging out with those people. You start spending time at happy hour. You start spending time watching the ball game, and your leisure time is now defined the same way that normal people define their leisure time. It's an escape. It's an escape from your current reality because the pain, the realization that there's no escape because my income is capped. I might get a raise, but there's a limitation, it's capped. So now you're doing the same thing. And so you want to go to the happy hours now. You want to watch Netflix and chill. You want to find windows of escape instead of using those windows as opportunities to build your dream, because you're not negotiating where you want to go. You're not negotiating the price that has to be paid because you're committed to the outcome. Beware of what you normalize. Beware of what you deem as acceptable in your circle. I've had conversations with people that have tremendous capacity, but they have put it on the shelf because they're in a relationship with someone with no goals and dreams other than paying the bills, other than making just enough money to get from one week to the next. It's a tragedy when you encounter someone that has the seed of greatness in them and they allow it to get overrun with the weeds of mediocrity and what they deem as normalcy and what is acceptable. And you'll look up and you'll have the same conversation a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. And the more you do nothing in those extra hours, after you're putting in your time on your job, the more you do nothing towards your building your dream, the further the dream gets away, the more dust settles on that dream, that vision that only you had. And that dust starts to harden and it turns to plaque. And that plaque builds up. And it builds up. And you can't see it anymore. And so then you just look for the sugar highs throughout the course of your life. Hey, my son's football team, they won today. Oh, my daughter, she did so good in her ballet lesson and she's learning piano. I just want to be a good parent. I love pouring into my kids. And so your children become an excuse instead of a reason. And then you exemplify to your kids what it looks like to give up on your dreams and your goals. And you pass that on to them subconsciously because of what you've allowed to become normal. Some people, ladies and gentlemen, you have to consciously love from a distance. You have to make decisions to create space for your dreams and your goals. My dreams and my goals are so big, I have to create space. I cannot allow certain people into my energetic space because I know they've given up. I know they're resigned to being a paycheck player and living off of somebody else's salary of what they deem their worth for the rest of their lives. I know that they've designed their entire lives around that salary in the hopes of getting a raise or two over the next 5 to 10 years that can adjust to inflation. They've resigned themselves. They've given up. It's not a judgment. Still love them. I would love for them to step into their greatness because I believe in that it's in them. But that's not my choice. That's not my path. It's not my journey. My responsibility is to my goals and my dreams to protect them, to nurture them, to cultivate them, and to put the freaking work in every single day in manifesting them, doing whatever is required because I'm worth it. I know my value. I'm playing the long game. I'm building to legacy income and legacy wealth, meaning there's so much money coming in that I can't figure out ways to spend it, meaning that we're accumulating so many assets and we're building and putting our money to work for us in such a way that we're planning for the second, third, and fourth generations of our family. Ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't come from being a paycheck player. That will not come from resigning myself to a life of mediocrity. I cannot build for a future generation or generations by playing small, by giving up, by settling. I cannot get there. And so I got to protect the dreams and the goals. I have to serve them every day. And then I got to love people from a distance. Because my future generations are way more important than keeping company because I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, than keeping company with someone because I've just known them for a long time, and keeping company because we've just gotten used to being with each other in relationship, and I've just decided to settle because I don't want to be alone, even though I know deep down inside you will never have any big goals and dreams. And not only that, you won't support mine. I'm not even saying that the person that you're with has to have great ambition and goals and dreams, but they better support yours. And if they can't get on board with where you want to go, they're going to benefit. They stand to gain from your ambition. And if they can't see that, and you accept that, and you normalize that, shame on you. Shame on you. Because you were given gifts and capacity. And when you stand before your Maker, when you take your last breath, are you going to feel satisfied that you gave it all that you could? Or will you stand before your Maker with regret, eternal regret, on the work you didn't do, on the goals and dreams that you put on the shelf and you allowed plaque to build up? Ladies and gentlemen, that's forever. I don't wish that on anyone. And I encourage the clients that I coach, I have each of them spend some time at the graveyard. I encourage them to look out and ask themselves the question, are there more people laying in this space, in the spirit, the eternal spirit of regret, than there are people who are living in that eternal spirit of I gave it all that I had to give? So I challenge you to beware of what you deem as normal, what you deem as acceptable. What if you raise your standard? Perhaps when you raise your standard, a different caliber of person will come into your circle, and you will create a new norm of expectation and greatness that you were sent here to fulfill.